Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match, #1 tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers, your hometown sportsbook. I am Nigel Seeley. Joining me to discuss tomorrow's matches over on the 3 ATP Tour events this week is our senior ATP Tour handicapper, Sean Calvert, who we've got half an hour with before he quickly exits to the airport to head to Marrakesh, and you can follow his adventures on our Instagram account at Because We Win. Sean, I appreciate you coming on. I know you've got a busy morning ahead of your flight. We haven't got far to travel this time.
No. Well, the flight's like 3.5 hours, but I mean, the great thing about Southend Airport, as I've always said, it's like 10, 15 minutes in a taxi from here. So, and there's never anybody there. I say never. I mean, rarely. There's a few more flights there now. It's starting to ramp up a bit, but you can get through security there in about 10 minutes. If that. So I don't need to go until about an hour before the flight takes off, and I'll be perfectly on time. So, yeah, perfect. It's a great trip. Marrakesh, you should do it next year. It's great.
Oh, no, I'm fine. It doesn't appeal to me. Monte Carlo appeals to me. Dubai appeals to me. Miami appeals to me. Rome appeals to me. Wimbledon appeals to me. Marrakesh, Delray Beach, 22 hours, Indian Wells. Nah.
I must admit, I'm not. I don't think I'll be going back to Indian Wells. It's too much. That is 20 odd hours, and then you're 8 hours behind, and it sends you a bit peculiar. But Marrakesh, there's no time difference. I think they're, because of the clocks have just gone forward, I think they're an hour ahead now. But it's nothing. It's an interesting trip. I mean, the Instagram might be quite interesting follow over the next few days.
Yeah, have a look across there. Sean will be there live giving you some in-play advice. I'm sure we bump into Yunus Elanui. He does
definitely
every year.
100%.
He'll be there. Check him out there. He'll be putting security on Sean. You might have no problems with security at Southend Airport. We're going to have security at Marrakesh at tennis venue when Yunus Elanui goes, it's that guy again, that English guy keeps following me around.
I had the gloves on with the security there last time because they thought I was recording, doing a video of Musetti when he was warming up. They didn't like it, so there was a bit of a row. But there's always something goes on in Marrakesh. It's an interesting one.
Let's move on. Before we move on, well, last night the curse of the futures markets hit us again. Bosic van der Sande set 4-1 up, traded minus 1,000 with Bet Rivers to win that match against Richard Gasquet and blew it. Yeah,
I mean, the sad thing about that is I'm not even surprised. People probably won't believe me, but I had a few quid on Gasquet at like 25 to 1, 33 to 1. You could just see it coming with Bosic. He was a set and 4-1 double break, 100 to 1 on in play, as you say. And I wasn't watching at that point. I turned on when he was a set and 4-3. He'd already hit 1.01 before that, and he looked extremely shaky. This is not unusual for Bosic. You do take your chances with him because he's so fragile mentally. But I mean, even by his standards, the way that he kind of just capitulated. I think he was a set and 5-4. I think he lost the next 8 or 9 games in a row. He was by the end. He was just walking between side to side. He wasn't interested. But that's what you get. Sometimes when you're on a run like we've had with all these players withdrawing, injuries, illnesses. Now you're throwing a 1.01 into the mix. This does happen when you're backing outrights that are primarily sort of 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 40 to 1. You are going to get a lot of this stuff when you get a lot of really bad beats, and it does happen with outrights. It's unfortunate. It's painful, that's for sure. But there's literally nothing you can do.
No, another bad beat. Bosic van der Sande betters goes into room 101 for me.
I think I'm done with him now.
Bet him at 20 to 1 when he's playing Carlos Alcaraz, or bet him at 50 to 1 when he's playing Novak Djokovic. Bet him against the top 5 in the world, but do not trust him at minus $2 in a 250 event. Absolutely no way you're talking about betting Bosic van der Championship ever again. No. Let's move on to tomorrow's action, and we're going to go to Houston over on the clay court in America. And the action here starts at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Bet Rivers have about 28, 29 different markets available on these matches. You can get them on the app or on the website. Remember, if you do have a bet on the matches, you'll be able to live stream the match as well. So bet live and watch live with Bet Rivers. The first match that has caught your attention is a pretty 50-50 cool match. Jenson Brooksby up against Alejandro Tabilo. Tabilo is minus 115. Brooksby is minus 108. Spread 1.5. Total here is 22.5. If we look at their recent records, surprisingly, Brooksby is 3-0 on clay, and he's won 3 matches to get to round 2 here. He's come through qualifying, and he beat Tara Daniel in round 1. Tabilo hasn't won a clay match this year, the Chilean. which is a surprise. And he's in drastic form. He's only won 2 of his last 10. But yet the money in the opening flurries has come for the Chilean. And Brooksby's on the drift. The head-to-head is 1 win apiece. They were in the futures events in 2016 and 2018. So little relevance into that. But I'm quite surprised that Tabilo has been bet personally. I'm interested to see your thoughts on this one. But Alessandro Tabilo looks lacking a bit of confidence. It isn't a slow clay court. It's quite a quick clay court, which suggests that Brooksby might have a chance here. But I'm guessing that people see clay, see a South American against a big serving American and think, he's got to be a bet.
I think there's a couple of factors here, a couple of really big factors that, excuse me, maybe want to back Tabilo here. I'm more than happy to take Brooksby on at minus money here, minus 108. His overall record on clay is poor, Brooksby. He's only played 8 matches at main level in his career, lost 5 of them. Service points won and return points won total of 96, and a service hold and break total of 87. So pretty woeful stats on the clay. Tabilo, as you said, this is about recency. This is about current form for Tabilo, which isn't great. And Brooksby, people are seeing him come back from this ban that he had, and he's played a few decent matches. He's not earth-shattering stuff by any means, but he's done pretty well since he's come back. But you've got to look at several things. As I said, his clay record is not great. Brooksby, yes, I know this is quicker clay, but we'll come to that in a minute. Even in the form Tabilo's in, he's still got better stats over the last 12 months than Brooksby on clay. Service points won and return points won total of 97, which is 1 better. Service hold and break total of 98, which is 11 points better. And he wins 71% on first serve. This is a player in Tabilo that isn't your archetypal clay courter. He's won titles on grass. He's won titles on quick hard courts. Arguably, well, for me, he has a better first serve than Brooksby. Brooksby not the greatest first serve considering the size of him. He's never been a real big server. Just that funky game style that he has, it confuses a lot of people. Yes, he's won 3 matches on the clay, but he shouldn't have won the first one by any means. He was 6-3, 5-3 down, Brooksby, against Gomez in qualies. Match point down. Gomez ended up losing. So he should have been out in qualies, really. Brooksby managed to come back. Played well in the first round against Taro Daniel, but does that mean much? Daniel's won 2 of his last 18 matches at main level. So he's in one of his usual slumps, Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel will probably come back and win a hard court, probably win Winston-Salem in just before the US Open or something. That's having lost his previous 38 matches. That's what Taro Daniel normally does. But another big factor here is Brooksby's record against left-handers, which is absolutely shocking. He's 0-9 win-loss at main level on all surfaces against left-handers. And in those 9 matches, he's got a service points won and return points won total of 84. And 8 of those 9 losses were in straight sets. So he couldn't have a worse record against left-handers, Brooksby. We know Tabilo can do a lot better than he's shown lately, a lot better. He's had a lot of injury problems as well. The back has been the main issue for him. But we know he's capable of far better. I'm not sure that Brooksby is capable of that much better on clay. As I said, Tabilo can win on various surfaces, grass, hard, clay. Happy to take him as slight underdog here with Bet Rivers, 1.87 minus 115. Yeah, happy with that.
Yeah, he's actually the slight favourite with Bet Rivers here, Tabby, minus 115. Brooksby is minus 108, and that's the reason why I asked that question, because when he looked at the price, he looked at the relevance, he looked at the form. Sean is give you the exact reason why he should bet Tabilo. The record against the left-handers there, Brooksby's stats backs it completely up from what you first see on the price, on the head-to-head, and on the breakdown of recent matches. Good analysis there, and we've gone with the Chilean at minus 115 to beat Brooksby. Let's move on to our second match, and it's Tommy Paul, the American. Americans have a good record here in Houston against Cristian Garin. Before we go on to this match, break it down, Sean, I don't know if you've got any stats from the first day's play. Have you got any data through that backs anything up? Or the weather forecast is hot, humid, but it's a bit cloudy tomorrow, so there's no real it's not hot conditions. It's just what we expect this time of year in Houston. But what about any data yet that can back up any statistics from our preview show?
Not any data yet, but they've only played a handful of matches in the first round. I don't think it would tell us much anyway. But I think probably the interesting thing to take from the weather forecast for tomorrow and the week in general is extremely windy. 22-mile-an-hour winds forecast tomorrow in Houston. It's going to be 30 degrees, so it'll be warm, but not sunny. It looks like you said, cloudy and windy. So I would say tricky conditions for the players, certainly tomorrow and for the rest of the week by the look of it.
Yeah. So Tommy Paul is up against Cristian Garin. Tommy Paul hasn't had to. He's been a bit uninspiring since his semi-final defeat in Dallas. He got beat by Giron in the round 16 in Acapulco. Medvedev, outsorts Medvedev in Indian Wells, and he got beat by Cerundolo. Our man, when we bet Cerundolo quite heavily, and there's quite a one-sided defeat in that third round. But yet he's a heavy favourite here, making his season first appearance, his debut on the clay. And he's up against Cristian Garin. I think he's won this tournament before.
He has, yeah.
And has a good record against Tommy Paul. The last two meetings they played were both on clay. Garin won them both in Rome in 2023 and on the French Open in 2022 in the first round. 3-1 is the head-to-head record between the two of them. But the two clay court meetings have been 2 wins for Cristian Garin. Are we going to go for another Chilean here, or is it Tommy Paul at minus 275 the bet?
The Chilean, definitely. I think this is a very tricky opening match of the season, the clay court season for Tommy Paul, who, as you said, has not been in good form lately at all. Very uninspiring. I know Medvedev and Cerundolo are quality players, but it's the way that he lost to both of them. I think he got bageled by Medvedev, and he wasn't far off against Cerundolo. Cerundolo should have won that extremely easily. I think he choked a bit from a set and 4-1 up. Should have won it very easily. So all is not well with Tommy Paul at the minute. Just doesn't look quite right. And this is an opening match of the season on clay. You mentioned about Americans having a good record here. Tommy Paul doesn't. His record here is not great at all. Garin has played 5 matches on clay already in the last week or so. Played a challenger last week. Come through qualies here. 1 match, didn't face a single break point in that match. So he's very much, got his clay shoes on. He's another Chilean like Tabilo that's had a lot of injury problems in recent times, but his top level is very, very high indeed. We haven't seen it for some time, so the jury is out on whether he still has that level. That's the kind of gamble in this one. But at these odds, I'm happy to take a chance. If we look at the Houston records, as I said, Paul, not very good here. 40% win rate. And so he's only won 2 matches, actually. And one of the 2 matches that he won here was a third set retirement by Peter Giovcek, who's now a retired player. But he was a player that used to play really well on sort of slick, low bouncing conditions. That was one of his only 2 wins. The other one was against Paolo Lorenzi. I'm sure you remember him. Back in 2016 when Tommy Paul was a wild card here. So his record here overall, 40% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 94. Very uninspiring indeed. Garin, on the other hand, he's won 11 of his 13 matches here. So 85% win rate and a service points won and return points won total of 106. So this is a tournament he loves. No problem at all with the conditions here for him. Champion in 2019. I think he beat Casper Ruud in the final that year. The head-to-head also favours Garin. I know it was from a while ago, but they've played 4 matches. Garin's won 3 of them. A couple of them on hard. And the head-to-head totals, 107 to 93 in favour of Garin. Garin winning a very big 45% of return points. As far as second serve points are concerned, 53% won for Garin, just 45% for Paul. So he's had the better of it. Whichever way you look at this, in the past, Garin has had the better of it by some distance. The question for bettors is, do you still believe Garin has that similar level in him after all the injuries that he's had over the last sort of 2 or 3 years? I'm happy to take a chance here because, as I said, Paul's got a poor record here. He's not in good form. It's the first clay match of the season. I think if Paul is going to win this, he'll have to do it the hard way. So a split stakes here. Half on Garin plus 3.5 games, which is around about minus 102, I think. When I looked earlier, it was anyway. Mm-hmm. And Garin to win the match at plus 215. So half a point on each of those bets there.
So it's going to be a red hot day. We're getting with the Chileans. And hopefully pepper the winner is. So red hot Chilean pepper day. We're hoping.
It's very good off the cuff.
You like that?
Yeah,
it's
not bad off the cuff. There's no rehearsals anyway for this show.
No rehearsals. No script. But you said it was really hot. You said we were the Chileans, and we're peppering in the winners. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to. Yeah, that'd be good. Anyway, let's move on to Marrakesh, where Sean will be heading, and he'll probably be courtside to watch this match tomorrow. It's Darderi up against Tristan Boyer, the young American guy who's come through the Challenger, and you will be able to see about this play. You would have read about him on our fantastic ATP, the Challenger Tour Guide, which is available on the newsletter. If you haven't subscribed, to make sure you subscribe to the newsletter at bettingweeklystudios.com. You'll get the bets every Monday and the insider out every Friday. And last Friday we had a 4.2 unit week. I think it was brilliant picks as well. But there's a fabulous challenger guide. When you see these players through, you can read all about them on the guide there, and it's for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. Okay, let's move on to tomorrow's match. It's Darderi up against Tristan Boyer. It's minus 180 for Darderi. Plus 143 for Boyer. Minus 4.5 is the handicap here, and the total is 22.5. Now, this match should start at an early. Just checking the time on the Bet Rivers website. This will be 7 a.m. Remember, the matches in Houston are 1 p.m. Eastern time. This is a 7 a.m. start. So if you're going to have a bet here, you want to get on nice and early. I'm looking for the head-to-head. I don't think they would have played because
they have.
They have played. I'm surprised by that. So. Let's have a look what the head is. Boyer won it 1-0 on clay as well in the Challenger 6-3, 7-5. He's a guy who's got a bit of a future ahead of him, this Tristan Boyer, but he's got a proven clay court here in Darderi who got to the final in the Challenger last week.
Yeah, I mean he's got a very good record on clay, Tristan Boyer. It's something you perhaps wouldn't expect for his sort of style of play. American guy, big serve, big forehand, very attacking. But he's got an excellent record on clay. This is a chance for Tristan Boyer, who certainly should be better prepared for this match and certainly should be much fresher than Darderi. Darderi, as I mentioned the other day on the show, he had to play 2 matches and 6 sets on Sunday in the Naples Challenger because of the rain. They had to play the semis and the final on the same day. So he played 6 sets on Sunday, lost the final in a final set tiebreak. So certainly preparation-wise, now he's coming to a totally different tournament. The 460 meters of altitude, very different to Naples, which is literally right by the sea. So very different conditions there. The most he's going to have is a day or so, you would think, to practice. Boyer also played the Naples Challenger. He's another one that lost a match he should have won. He was 6-1, 3-1 up, Boyer, against Arnaboldi and managed to lose. But his that will annoy him. His clay pedigree is very, very good and recent form as well. He won a very strong Montevideo Challenger in November. The people he beat there, Ugo Carabelli, Montero, Delien, Juan Manuel Cerundolo, and Gastão Elias. So those are very solid clay court players. Beat all of them, won that Challenger. Also won the Campinas Challenger on the clay. And he also that was just a month before that. He also beat Darderi on clay in their only career meeting, as you said, which was in Antofagasta, which is in Chile, and a very dominant win as well for Boyer in terms of service points won and return points won totals of that match, 113-87. Boyer 53% first serve points won, Darderi 39%. So very good stats there for Boyer in that match. I'm just checking that I got that right actually. Yeah, I did. And Boyer winning that day 52% of return points. So you would think that in hot, dry conditions, at a bit of altitude as well, with his power and aggression, Berrettini won this title last year. I'm not sort of saying they're the same level, but similar sort of style. Big serve, big forehand, like to be aggressive. That could win the day against an opponent who is likely to be tired. It could go either way with Darderi. He's been in a real slump. Now he's kind of back to form. You could argue that will be a real boost to confidence for him. It could go that way, or it could go the way that he's just hasn't really got much in his legs. Boyer should be really up for this. He knows he can beat Darderi on clay. He'll be desperate for making up for the fact that he lost from a set and 3-1 up last week. So the only thing that puts me off here is that Darderi does have a really impressive challenger record on clay, which is better than Boyer's, but Boyer's only been playing not that long at challenger level on clay. So I think if you're betting in this, I think you have to decide whether you think Darderi is going to be a bit leggy after everything he's been through in Naples, and then decide. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be backing Darderi at minus 180. It's a lean here for Boyer at plus 143. I'll probably make my mind up a bit late on that one because I need to know when it's being played as well. I'll be there, so I'll probably put it on the Instagram. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that one.
The plus 143 with Bet Rivers is the best price in the land. The price is being smashed all over the place for the American here. So if you are in the opinion that you want to get with Sean's lean there, you want to get across to the Bet Rivers website now, because that plus 143 will be under some pressure. Looking at the weather forecast in Marrakesh, it looks lovely. It looks perfect. Nice sunny, 23 degrees, 26 degrees, lovely.
Yeah, it's fortunately it's a little cooler than it has been. The last 3 or 4 days it's been about 30, 32, 33. Today it's going to be about 24, tomorrow 23, I think 25, 26. It does change very quickly there, where they are, but yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be a major issue. It's not going to be like 34 degrees and super hot, and this could even be played at night. We don't know the schedule yet.
Does look nice. So you're in for a nice few bits of sunshine for a few days over there. Many of you to follow Sean at Because We Win. Where the weather on our Instagram, where the weather doesn't look very nice, is in Bucharest in Romania.
Yeah,
Looking
it's on my screen here.
Absolutely, I think Friday and Saturday quite good. Rain all the way through, and 5 hours ago they issued a wind warning in I don't know if that's in the hospitality area or that is in the weather. But
I don't think they have hospitality here.
Well, okay. After that spicy food in Miami, there was a definite wind warming going off in there. But anyway, this is the one match we are going to discuss. It is Flavio Cobolli up against Richard Gasquet, the man who ended our Botic van der Zandschap hopes yesterday. The veteran I keep saying it's probably his farewell year. I think this is his farewell year finally.
I think he's stopping at the French Open. I think that's the plan. I think it's his last. The French will be his last tournament.
I got a lift home from a female Uber driver in Miami, French lady, and she went to school with Richard Gasquet. She was friends with Richard Gasquet.
Is that right?
What a nice man he was. Yeah, she was an Uber driver in Miami. Interesting stat. Anyway, Richard Gasquet has beaten Cobolli once before in the Challenger event on clay. But really, I mean, this could be anything, because we could have delays here. We could have weather warnings. We could have wind factors. I mean, it's the elements. Whoever's going to win it is someone who's got to brave those elements, because it looks horrid, the conditions tomorrow here.
It looks better than it did when I looked at it about 3 or 4 days ago. I mean, I'm just looking at it now. Today's not too bad. It's just not warm. You can see the people in the crowd have all got sort of big coats and sort of hoods and stuff on. It's not very warm. It's probably about 15 degrees. Pretty windy, as you said, sort of 14, 15 degrees. Tomorrow, miles per hour. So I'm just looking at this as we do this now. Tomorrow doesn't look too bad. It just looks cloudy all day until the evening when there's some rain due. It doesn't look that windy. Certainly not as windy as in Houston, where it's 20 odd mile an hour.
I've put in Bucharest weather, and it comes out a big red mark saying wind warning.
It said moderate wind warning on mine, but that's like 15 mile an hour or something. It's not. Unless we've got very different weather forecasts, but it doesn't look that bad. It's not ideal. I wouldn't want to be there. Put it this way: sitting there with a coat and a hoodie and big jacket on, freezing, watching this. That's not for me. As far as this match is concerned, I just don't see how you can back Cobolli at -$2 here. He doesn't look right at all to me, Cobolli. There's something pretty seriously wrong with him, I would suggest, in terms of either physicality or something else that's going on. I wouldn't have thought that a slow, heavy clay court like this, because if you look at this, if you watch the match, I've got it on here now, it's a very thick top layer of clay, and they water it quite a bit, and obviously there's no sun to burn that off, so it's real heavy conditions, which I wouldn't have thought would have suited Gasquet at all at this stage of his career. He's not really able to hit through heavy conditions, but he didn't really need to, because Botic just handed it to him yesterday. As I said, Cobolli's just not been right at all since he got injured at the end of last year. I think it was in Vienna. He's lost 9 of his last 10 matches, Cobolli, 4 of which he was favourite for, and the only one he won was against 144 ranked Spizzeri. That's his only win in his last 10 matches. And if you look at their records, the pair of them, last 10 main level matches each on all surfaces, Gasquet's got a much better record. He's only got a 30% win rate, which isn't great, but his service points won and return points won total is 100. Cobolli, 20% win rate, and a service points won and return points won total of 91. So that's the level Cobolli's playing at the minute. It's nowhere near the highs that we saw of him kind of last year. First serve points won, Gasquet 77% winning on his first serve. Cobolli 66%. Return points won, Gasquet 33.3%, which isn't great, but Cobolli's only 30.5%. So there's nothing Cobolli's doing that's good at the minute. as I said, he's looked totally out of sorts ever since Vienna when he had a shoulder injury. He hasn't looked right since then. At that time, he said he was making changes to his game. I don't know whether this is the result of that, whether he's just tweaked something. He said he was going to do something about his serve. I think he mentioned the backhand as well. There's a lot of things that he mentioned that it seems a lot to change all at once. And I don't know whether that's the problem or whether he's just physically not right. Something's not good with him at all. Gasquet beat him on clay in their only career meeting. Yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but pretty dominant win as well. Gasquet won 62% of second serve points that day against 38% for Cobolli. Gasquet clearly is a motivated man in the last throes of his career. He doesn't get many chances now at main level. He's got a wild card here. Fortunate to beat Van der Zandschulp, yes, but I can't see how you can back Cobolli the way he is at the minute. I would be inclined to take a little punt on Gasquet plus 160 here.
Yeah, Gasquet. Roll back the years, farewell tour, plus 160 against an out of sorts Flavio Cobolli. That is the match in Bucharest. Check the different weather forecast because different weather, the weather there in and out, but it's definitely one thing we do know. It is the worst conditions of all three. Remember to hit that subscribe button, please. We had a lot of views over the Miami tour, a huge amount of views, and now we're going into the clay court season. 3,250 is a good amount of views as well on the first show of the week. Hopefully we get some more views on this one as well. Give us your comments. Let us know what you think, who you like. What's your best bet for tomorrow's action? Remember, head across to the Bet Rivers website. There's a multitude of different markets that will be available on these matches nearer the time. And just to let you know, that Gasquet match starts at 5:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So a real early start. Don't hang around. Make sure you get your bets on nice and early. And we're going to go with the veteran Richard Gasquet to get the job done. Lots of content coming your way as well. Every day at 11 o'clock Eastern time, Betting Weekly Live. One of the handicapping team will be on previewing the big action. The Premier League returns this evening. There is Betting Weekly Premier League Live with myself, Jack Wright and Dan Roebuck. Make sure you check that out as well. And loads of action coming up in the countdown now on this channel to the build-up to the French Open, which is just a couple of months away from now. Sean, get in that Uber. Get down to that cab.
I will.
Have a nice little drink in the lounge. Do they have a lounge at Southend Airport?
They do, but I don't really bother with it because I don't really have time. So I get there just about time to have get a couple of bits that you need, and then just get on the plane. I don't have time for lounges. They do have a lounge, but it hasn't been open for about 3 years.
The amount of people, it could be called the Sean Calvert Lounge in years to come because you must be the most frequent flyer from Southend, the Sean Calvert Lounge.
That would be something, wouldn't it? That'd be an achievement. That would.
Yeah. I want Stella in the Seeley Lounge, but obviously doesn't really get that.
I'll
have
a look today when I walk through. You have to walk past it to go from security downstairs. It's a very small airport, so everything's right there. I'll see if they do Stella.
I'll have a look. Anyway, follow Sean's Adventures on our Instagram account at Because We Win. You can follow us across all of the socials here. And that is it for today. Tomorrow we'll be joining Sean live from Marrakesh with the latest and the last edition of Betting Weekly Game Bet Match this week. All for me to say, Sean, have a very safe flight.
Thank you.
Good luck with your winners. Hopefully our luck can change after the minus 1,000 yesterday turnover added
Can't
to
get
another.
any worse, can it?
Yeah, well, it's another node of unfortunate results for us. But hopefully we can get it to turn around today. And I know you'll be in attendance tomorrow cheering our bets. Before I go, Sean, just give us the official plays, please.
Yeah, a couple of official plays in Houston on the money line. Tabilo to beat Brooksby. Around about minus 115. I think that is a Bet Rivers. And split stakes on the other one. Cristian Garin plus 3.5 games at minus 102. And also Garin to win on the money line at plus 215 against Tommy Paul.
Well, there you go. Mixture of results. Good luck with your bets. Hopefully we cash some tickets tomorrow. And as I say, very safe journey. Take care. See you tomorrow.